Hello, everyone, and welcome to Twitch Creator Camp. My name is Ash Said Hi, and I am joined by some incredible guests. And today we are going to be talking about charity and successful charity and hosting charity streams here on Twitch. A quick note before I introduce my incredible guests. If you haven't seen it already, Twitch Creator Camp, which you can also find on twitch.tv/creator camp. But today we're doing it here on my channel, which is cool. We designed to give a new and growing streamer advice and insight from Twitch and other exceptional creators. Near the end of the Creator Camp, we'll have a Q&A session. If you have a question, just use exclamation ask in the chat and we will get to it before the show session ends. So now that I have gotten that out of the way, let me introduce you to our amazing guests. We have Savannah Lowe and Chris Melberger, right? Chris Melberger?
Melberger, whatever you want.
Melberger. That makes sense. Duh.
Melberger, yeah.
Like, that's why your emote is burger. Hello, Ash, but welcome. So, I would love it if you all could introduce yourselves, tell everyone your pronouns, and what you do on Twitch. So, Chris, can you go ahead and start?
Sure. Hi, guys. My name is Chris Melberger. Pronouns are he, him. And I've been streaming on Twitch now for over 6 years. I do a variety of stuff, lots of different games. Especially lately, I've been a big variety streamer. Totally haven't been playing just Fortnite OG for the last few weeks. But yeah, been loving it, and we've been doing a lot of cool stuff for charity as well. We raised over like $10,000 last week, actually, for a community member, and it's been just awesome to see the community come together to do some really cool things.
Wow, that is absolutely incredible. And I can't wait to hear your thoughts on like what community means for like charity and all of the work that you've gotten done. So that's really cool. Thank you for sharing that. And Savannah, let's hear a little bit more about you.
Hello. Thank you so much for having us, Ash, in the Creator Camp. We're so excited to delve into this important topic. My name is Savannah Lowe. I'm the wholesome singing Soulsborne streamer. I'm a professional vocalist, and my background is in fundraising, specifically for cancer charities. For the past 2 decades, I shifted gears and went over to streaming a couple years ago during the pandemic, and I'm so grateful I did. I've met so many amazing people. For my stream alone, we've been able to raise over $30,000 for charities in the past couple years, and I'm very passionate about using this platform for good, and I'm just excited to be able to be a part of this creator camp and hopefully shed some light on ways that everybody can do that as well.
I love that. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to hear your story too. And man, that is amazing. You all have raised so much money for charity. I know a lot of people out there who are maybe looking to start charity for their first time ever, or just want to learn tips and tricks from like people who are very experienced like you. They're going to get so much great information out of this. So for those of you all who don't know me, my name is Ash Said Hi. My pronouns are she, her, and I have done charities for like so many different organizations, which I'm excited to tell you all about as well. And I also have a stream team, and we try to do at least one charity a year. And I think since we've started, we've raised like I think somewhere between $15,000 and $20,000 for various charity efforts. So I can't wait to share all of this cool stuff with everybody here. So the first question that I have for you all are, what are your thoughts about the importance of charity fundraising? And I'm gonna go Savannah and then Chris, if that's okay. Oh my God, the pets today are wreaking havoc. Let me tell y'all, chat, before we start, like I had a bit of a panic because Bobby accidentally banned Chris from my chat, and I couldn't unban Chris for like a good 20 minutes, and I was like terrified. It was so funny.
Her cat hates me.
My cat.
We literally, for our first time meeting, she's like,
Yeah.
"You're banned from my chat," and I'm like, "Why?" It's like my cat sat on the computer on my keyboard and somehow managed to ban you. So
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
banned.
yeah. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. But
It's okay. I probably deserved it. It's fine.
but yeah, I'd love to hear
Oh, there
your
he goes
thoughts.
again.
I know, there she is. She's coming. She's coming for us.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts about the importance of charity fundraising? Savannah, go first, and then we'll go with Chris.
Absolutely. So sorry about that. That was my dog, Sif. He
Oh,
wanted to join in the conversation. We're so happy to be here on the party here. But the importance of charity, I feel like having been in the entertainment industry for a long time and using the platform that I had as a child of both a breast cancer survivor and having lost my own father to cancer and my brother to cancer, I feel like what this platform can do is unquantifiable.
yeah.
There's there's no like venue cap or stage that's too big or too small. You don't know who's going to come through your stream. You don't know who's going to need to hear the message that you have. There's more than just raising funds. It's about spreading a positive influence. It's about creating a message of hope and perseverance in a time where the digital world is basically what we have to anchor ourselves to. And I feel so strongly about using this platform for good. I feel like the tools and Twitch that is behind this really do want to help you with that. And I feel like no matter how big or small your community might be, you have the power to make a lasting impact on the world, just period, with streaming and raising funds for whatever causes are important and near and dear to your heart.
I really love the points that you brought out about no matter the size of your community and the importance of awareness. Because I think a lot of people don't think about that. I feel like they always think about, like, oh, let's make sure we always hit the goal and let's raise the most amount of money. But charity also means, like spreading the awareness of the organization or the message that is going on. And yeah, I feel like those are really great points. So thank you for sharing them. Chris, I'd love to hear what you have to say about your thoughts on the importance of charity and fundraising.
I'm not going to sound as smart or eloquent, but I do agree with a lot of what she said. My community has been raising money since I think when we first started 2017. I think one of my first fundraising streams was for my mom's foundation. My mom passed away in 2016 to ovarian cancer, and she has a foundation that we put together with my family where we raise money for people. It's a little different from like the usual cancer funds. It's for people who are just like who aren't able to afford their treatments, their car rides to their back and forth, or like their groceries, or people who are struggling financially because healthcare is a joke in this country. And we've uh we've had a lot of good responses from people who can relate in some sort of, hey, like a family member, because most people have had family members who have had some sort of, illness.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've been raising money, and I really liked your point about it doesn't matter the size. I would say some of the smallest streams have probably done more financially for charities and organizations than some of the biggest ones, because there's a really tight knit core community, and it's there. It's really nice to see, and we've been doing it. We try to do a few a year just because people are very giving, and like you said, you never know who's watching. Sometimes you'll get a donation that blows everyone away and it makes people speechless because someone just felt really kind and giving that day.
Yeah, absolutely 100%. And I think that is a really, really important thing to point out too, because you're right. Like, I feel like that's the magic of Twitch, like connecting with people on that human level. And charity really adds that element, tenfold, right? Like hundredfold. Like, because people watch us to kind of escape like the things that they're going through in life, but then it's also a great platform to be able to connect with people and maybe like difficult things that they've had, so that way they can even feel like they can contribute on some level through maybe donating to an org or raising awareness or being a part of a really cool event that you're hosting in celebration of like a charity effort. So I love that. I really, really love that, and I love your thoughts on community through charity. So that's going to lead us to our next question. I love, especially you talked about what you do for your mom. Do you think that that's what inspired you to do your first charity? The next question is, what inspired you to do your first charity? So is that like a big part of it, Chris? I'll start with you and then I'll go to Savannah.
Yeah, I think I think there was like not necessarily a stigma, but when I first started streaming, and I've been doing content online for almost 10 years. I started on Vine, went to YouTube, and then went to Twitch. And I feel like at first I was like, I'm just a guy who's trying to be funny. Like I never really thought about like the impact or the influence you really had. And you could see now, like especially like when you have an audience, you kind of have to understand like with that comes a little bit of power in a sense where like you do have reach, you do have influence. And
Yeah.
I always felt weird at first with charity. I was like, I don't know, like asking people for help, I don't want to bother them. But now I look at it, I'm like, dude, why not? Like, you have this opportunity. People want to give money to something that has a meaning and has purpose. And I've seen it time and time again where like if we do it, like we'll hit. We'll smash the goal that I have within like
Yeah.
the first hour, and it blows my mind every single time. So it's something that I just love doing. I look forward to doing it. It's good. There's nothing negative that comes from it, and it's kind of like a why not. If it's helping someone out and it's making people feel good, it's a recipe for success, in my opinion.
I love that. And I love the fact that you brought up that sometimes there could be a stigma because I feel like, especially for newer broadcasters, that is like something that's top of mind. Like, oh, I don't want to bother my community or I don't want to, like, I don't know, like, what's their limits and stuff like that. But I feel like once you just kind of like, like demystify that stigma, like, you never know what your community is capable of. Don't put that like limit on them and just see what they can
Yep.
do. You
Hmm.
you never know what you might get, right? So that's awesome. Thank you so much, especially for sharing that very important point. Savannah, what inspired you to do your first charity stream?
My first charity stream, I got started on Twitch with a little game called Bloodborne. I was streaming straight from my PS4 and PS4 camera, all of that, little thumbnail in the corner. And having been in the charity fundraising spheres for so long, using my voice to raise funds, I was like, well, this is a great opportunity. Why not? Just like Chris said, I ended up doing a Bulma plays Bloodborne for breast cancer research
Yeah.
October stream, and I cosplayed as Bulma from Dragon Ball Z, and I raised money and it was so funny because it's just this little thumbnail at that point. There's no overlay or anything.
Do you do a Bulma impression?
I don't.
Okay, okay. I was getting ready for it.
I needed practice.
Okay, okay, okay.
I'll get one ready for the next time.
Perfect. Sounds good.
But it was so exciting to me because at that point, I was just starting out, but the even like the potential of being able to spread awareness, to reach out to other people that have had the same experience or similar experiences that I have had. I feel like Twitch is so much about community. And when we use that in the sense of the things that make us stronger, the things that we've been through, it helps us to know, you're not alone anymore. You're not dealing with this alone. We can all not only join forces in the fact that like, hey, I've been in that boat too. I know somebody with cancer. I know somebody who's, been through this, but also like, hey, let's do something positive together. And that was my very first charity stream on Twitch, was with a PlayStation 4 camera. I think we raised, a few $100s, and I was just over the moon,
Yep.
because any amount is special. It's meaningful. It matters.
Yeah.
It doesn't. There's no like minimum where you're like, oh, that's cool. Like you get a $5 dono and you're just like, ah, that's so good, so awesome.
Absolutely. And I think that's such an excellent point too. And especially when I work with like charities, right? They outright tell me it doesn't even matter if you raise a dollar, right? It's all about the awareness. And that's a dollar that they didn't have before. So you should any effort that you take to do good for others, that is the effort that's makes it worth it. Anything that you can do, anything at all you can do. And I love that. And I love that you shared with us like your very first like, oh, I started on my PS4. Like sometimes people feel like they have to have like a big setup and all this kind of stuff. But no, anybody can do charity streaming. Anyone. And if you have a cause, you're passionate about something, just go out and do it. I know for me, my first one was I did a stream for I think it was for during Black Lives Matter. I raised money for the Bail Project. And we raised money for people who might have been like wrongfully incarcerated or like just, awaiting bail and stuff like that. So that was what inspired me to stream because I started in 2019. So it was like really like the topic that was top of mind at that time. So that's what inspired me to do it. And then it taught me that charity streaming was accessible and easy and anyone can do it. And then I started doing more from there. So that was really cool. So, you know what? You know what I want to hear now, especially with stuff that you're talking about with making it easy and like anybody can do charity streaming. What are your thoughts on encouraging others to fundraise? So I'm gonna go with Savannah, then I'm gonna go with Chris. So share some thoughts on encouraging others to fundraise.
I feel like there is absolutely, Chris actually said this earlier, there's nothing, negative that can come from fundraising.
Mm,
It's one of the very few things that you have control over, that you're able to have an impact in the world. And there's no downside. There's no downside to it. Just like you said, that's a dollar that they didn't have before, the organization that you're behind. That's, some awareness that wasn't there before. And I believe, for me personally, I receive an immense amount of joy from being able to help others. It's a type of fulfillment that is like, like that fills a special like section of my heart that's only for that, and I feel like the charity streaming and fundraising is there's so much potential there to not only help others, but also to help yourself feel good about what you're doing with your time, with your efforts, with your streaming, with whatever you know you have going on. It's totally selfish. That's like we do it to feel good. No, I'm just kidding. But really, yeah, I would recommend it to absolutely everybody. Everybody has something that we're passionate about, a
yeah.
cause that we can get behind. So why not, make a difference with it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, yeah, just encouraging more people to do more good on Twitch, right? Like, that's always like a great thing, and I feel like if we could fill the world with that kind of energy, we'll all be better for it, right? So, absolutely. Chris, do you have any thoughts on encouraging others to fundraise?
Yeah, I think one of the things that people tend to forget with charities is there's so many different ones. So like a lot of people just assume there's like five, right? It's like the same five that everyone constantly donates to and raises money for, but there's so many like even like local ones or smaller ones in your area that could use help. Whether it's like a animal shelter or some like a blood donation situation or like just like doctors without like there's like so many different things that need help that you don't that you're not really limited to just one specific thing. Like I've raised a bunch of money with my community and my team for able gamers, and it's completely different from like someone who has cancer or something. Like they're both good charities to bring money to, but like able gamers tries to help people who need accessibility options for video gaming, and I think that's an amazing thing. And to let kids or adults feel like they could also participate the same way is important, especially in this industry. So bringing awareness and raising money for anything is very simple. All you have to do is just say, hey guys, we're doing this, and just have a simple goal. I think the way to measure a goal too is you can kind of like measure it based on like what your community, like how big your community is and like what you're at, subscriber wise. Like that's I kind of like it might be weird to measure it that way, but like you could tell like okay, I have this many subscribers, I have this many viewers, we could probably hit this. Like and have like a realistic goal. Like don't have one that's like too much of a reach, just because I feel like hitting it is always very exciting. So
Hmm.
have something that feels attainable, and then once you get there, usually chat goes double it. Like
Yeah.
bring it, let's keep it up, let's keep it going. So have a goal that makes sense that you because I feel like once you hit it, it feels like it was even more of a success, regardless if you hit it or not. But like, I think that's an important thing to also try to do is to like make it realistic because it is a tough time right now with the economy and everything and people with jobs and stuff. So like, you want to make it something that seems doable and achievable, but also it's for a good cause regardless.
That yeah, that definitely makes a lot of sense too, especially, I love the fact that you were bringing up local charities and like maybe things that people might not be aware that you can do, like thinking kind of like outside the box, especially, like I've known people that have raised money for their local like like pet shelter, or like maybe their local food banks and things
Hmm.
like that, which is really really cool. Because yeah, you usually think like, big national orgs and stuff, and those they need help too, but yeah, it's really cool to kind of like think outside the box, because then you can really make it specific to you and your channel and your community and stuff like that. But yeah, and I really also love the bringing up making your goals attainable too, kind of gauging like what you think your community might, because like that is really fun, right? Setting a goal and then smashing the goal and then seeing how much further you can push the goal. I feel like that always makes like chat like super excited and really engaged, right?
Yep, 100%.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, okay, the next thing that I want to talk about is thoughts on days of giving, like Giving Tuesday, or events like Together for Good, because I do think like Twitch has participated, or maybe like if there's anything that brings people together, like an event like Giving Tuesday, like I want to hear your thoughts on it. So, I'll go Savannah, then I'll go Chris. What are your thoughts on events like Giving Tuesday or Together for Good?
I feel like if you haven't started s- fundraising before, it's a great opportunity to get involved whenever there is like a site-wide event, Together for Good, Giving Tuesday. These are all opportunities that will give you that recognition, and it's so much easier to feel like you have a community around you of streamers that are doing what you're doing.
Mhm.
I felt this, in the Twitch Women's Guild too. It's like, okay, it's a camaraderie when you look around and you're like, oh, this person is also streaming for, Together for Good. This is, doing the Giving Tuesday. You're like, yeah, it's a team thing. Humanity loves that. We love, it takes a village, right? So I feel
Yeah.
like especially if you haven't really gotten on board with charity streaming, maybe you're afraid to dip your toes in the water with something like that. Uh, Picking events such as Giving Tuesday and Together for Good is a great opportunity for you to try it out. It's especially because you get to look around and see what other people are doing and give you that extra inspiration as well.
I love that. I love that you talked about like a reason to do it, because I think sometimes that's what is the barrier for entry for people. They're
Right.
like, "How do I start? Like, when's a good time?" So
Hmm.
something like that it's a really great opportunity. It's a good point. Do you have any thoughts on that, Chris?
Yeah, so Together for Good, I'm very excited for. I think the idea of like multiple people raising money and kind of like doing it alongside each other is exciting. I'm pretty sure, like 98% sure, I'm participating in it.
Yeah.
I'm still researching and figuring out what exact charity I want to raise money for. But I don't know. I'm gonna bring up a few other ones that like a few other examples of things that I've seen in the past that have done well that make me excited for Charity for Good.
Sure.
I know Thankmas every year. Jacksepticeye does it where he like every day he raises money with a bunch of other influencers and creators for, I believe it's for children. I don't know
Oh.
exactly what the organization is, but he raises a lot of money and does a lot of like millions and millions of dollars raised, which is awesome using the platform for good. And then one of my team members, I have a team on Twitch, Team Neat Dude, Mick Foolery. I think the last few years did this event called Fireside
Mhm.
Gathering, I believe, and it was like every hour someone went live, and it was for 48 hours straight. It was like every couple, it was like maybe every hour, every couple hours, someone went live, and then they would raid into the next person, and they did it literally for 48 hours straight, and they raised a ton
Wow.
of money, and it was a really cool event, and people loved it, and it's like the chats kind of just floated to wherever the next channel was, which is super fun, and I
Yeah.
feel like there's a similar vibe with this Together for Good that's happening where people are gonna all be doing stuff like back to back to back for November into December, which is exciting, and I think it's a great way to just show like Twitch is doing some really cool, innovative stuff.
Oh my god, I love that. I love the idea of the raid train because
Yeah.
it keeps the excitement going
Yeah, people
and
get yeah, it was
yeah,
so cool.
that is really, really awesome. Oh my god, I love that. And I know for me, I wanna participate for doing a charity for Starlight Children's Foundation, right? And
Nice.
they do, like, a charity usually in the beginning of December. I think it's around Giving Tuesday. It's usually, like, end of November, beginning of December, and it's a big, like, group like it's like a big group effort. And you're right, like doing those things with like a group of people, and especially when you have like the charity goal as a group and you see everyone hitting those milestones and just making progress, and like sometimes like smashing like previous year goals, it definitely inspires you to do more and makes it like feel like you're really making an impact for change in somebody's life, or like like for like whatever scientists kind of research or whatever you're raising money for. And that is exciting. It makes it feel like Twitch is a community that is capable of doing so many awesome things, because it really is. So thanks for sharing all of that. That was really good. So one thing that I do want to ask you all about next is, what are some of your thoughts on other ways to give that aren't financial? And I'll start with Chris and then I'll go to Savannah.
The easiest way to participate or give when your wallet's a little low or you just simply don't have the funds is retweeting, sharing on Instagram, participating in chat, sharing a link, because a lot of people are like, I wish I could give, I don't get paid until next Friday. That's fine. Like, a retweet can go a long way, because similar to, you don't know who's in your chat, you don't know who's on your follow list. Like, if you share a link or a fund that might resonate with someone, that might have worked. That might have got someone to come over, and you never will truly know. But also, like, it's free, and why not give it a shot? If it's free to retweet, so like, it's an awesome way to help and to be involved.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Awareness is huge when it comes to charity and sharing all of that, because you never know where that visibility will go just by sharing. Savannah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Absolutely. That's so great. Chris hit the nail on the head with that one, sharing. Um, you'd be surprised that how much of a difference it makes when somebody shares that with their community, and then somebody in their community might share it with somebody. It's a ripple effect. It can go so far, so fast.
Mhm.
And the other thing that I want to touch on is, I mean, times are hard. Your, your ability to financially contribute to a cause does not define, your investment in said cause. And in fact, like the most valuable and commodity that you have, and the one that you cannot earn back, is your time. So if you are
Mhm.
willing to sit and be in that stream and be a part of that, if you're willing to spend your time in with that cause, that's a huge thing. You don't get that back. Sharing it on the socials, of course, getting the word out, being in the stream, communicating with other people in the chat, getting the hype up, participating. That's a huge thing. That's enormous, whenever it comes to supporting, um, charities, that it doesn't have to always be financial.
Absolutely. And I definitely agree. Like, during the summer, I did a charity for World Cleanup Day, and the most important thing for that charity was awareness. And the cool thing about that charity is that you, through their website, could organize a local cleanup. And it didn't matter where in the world you were. Like, if you wanted to just like, go to New York and like clean up the streets, or, maybe if you were like, living near a beach or whatever, like you can set like your local area and do a cleanup. And I thought that that was cool. Like, just making like Twitch a platform where we raised awareness, but then, letting people know that even in your neighborhood, wherever you are, you can impact change. And one other thing that especially I love to do around this time is like encourage people to go to like soup kitchens, right? Like maybe they can go and donate their time and like feed the hungry or like, do something like that. But just like bringing awareness so people can know that there's other options other than, oh, I have money, let me share that money, which is great. There's other things that can fit your lifestyle or your budget or like the way that you want to help. So I think that that's awesome. And yeah, thank you for sharing your insights on that, everyone. That was really cool. Okay, so as broadcasters, what are the most impactful things that a creator can do when fundraising for charity? So I'm going to go Savannah, then I'm going to go to Chris. So Savannah, share your thoughts on that.
Some of the most impactful things that a broadcaster can do individually would be to do your research. Do your research on your charity. That's very important. It's a lot of us who are in this stream right now or watching it later might remember that so much of our work is offline. Right, the fun part, we get to hit live and be like the actual stream itself. That's a blast. But you should be doing your prep work, and understanding how the charity got started. Having talking points is a really great way to really get the most out of that charity stream. Having little segments where you're like, okay, at the top of the hour, I'm going to reintroduce it. Commanding your bots so that they have something automatically in the chat that might be on a timer or with a command for your donates. Those types of things. That offline work is very important, and you can do that at any level. Deciding what you want to stand behind. Specifically, if I can, mention the community aspect, if with what a creator can do to involve the people that are involved in the charity stream. So your community, that's what this is all about. That's why we are here, right? We are all banding together over a common cause. And one thing that I like to do in particular is once I have my, research and little blurbs about the charities that I'm like, okay, I like where this money is going. I like what this person is standing behind. I feel like this is a transparent organization that I can vouch for. I like to put a poll up in my Discord, and that from there, my community votes on which cause out of those selections, to stand behind. I think that that's a really great way to get everybody involved and invested, and to where you feel a personal connection with the cause. That you're not, you might have a big heart for animal rescue, but like the majority of your community is also very passionate about children's education, and so, and you can, go back and forth with things like that. But I feel like prep work is definitely up there, spending the time that it takes to get to know what you're fundraising for, plan it out so that you can really, really maximize the time that you spend on there actually live, and enjoy yourself. Do the prep work beforehand as a creator in order to prepare for a charity stream.
Yeah, absolutely. Prep work is key. And I know, like, usually when I work with an organization, they have like speaking points, they have like sometimes overlays and artwork and like videos and all that kind of stuff. And having that stuff set up like ahead of time, gets a lot of the like, work out of the way so that you could just focus on charity and having fun, right? So
Right.
I love that you brought that up. That's really smart. Chris, what are the most impactful things that a creator can do when fundraising for charity?
I don't want to just say like the same thing, but I do think research is super important because
Yeah.
a lot of times, you could just be like, "Hey guys, I'm raising money for this charity." What do they do?
Yeah.
I don't know. Just everyone else is raising money for it, so I thought I would. But like, if you don't know what they're doing or if you don't know what they stand for, it's kind of silly because it's like bringing awareness is a good thing, but you have to like know and kind of understand why you're doing it, I think, and like understand like what they're up to, at least a little bit, because then
Yeah.
otherwise it feels inauthentic. You know what I mean? Like I think researching is like just kind of like what's expected. Like if you don't research or look into it at least even a little bit, then what's the point? Um, because there are charities out there that you can raise money for that are popular that might have like some weird stuff going on behind the scenes,
Yeah.
or might be up to something that's just like not something that everyone agrees with. And also, I think some of the most important charities or foundations um, won't have 100% of people being stoked about you doing it, and like in a good way. Like I raised money last year and this year. We've raised like I think as a community like over $100,000 for Rainbow Railroad.
Yeah.
And if you're not familiar with them, they're out of Canada and they do a lot of really cool stuff. But their big thing is like they get people who are LGBTQI plus out of countries where they'll literally be like, you know, put in prison or killed for their lifestyle choice,
Wow.
and what they what they are. And so like obviously there are people online who might disagree with that organization, but they're obviously wrong and stupid. But like I think it's important to like look into this kind of stuff because it's a big deal and it's important. And this specific charity and foundation literally saves lives. So it's like that's the kind of stuff that you want to look into and just research before you just like say, hey, I'm raising money for something. You want to know what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah. That is absolutely true. Doing research, making sure that it aligns, and finding out like where the money goes. And like there's definitely ways that you can do that, right? Like there's ways that you can like go to like, the IRS website and find out like, is this money really going to where they say it's going and
Hmm.
all that kind of stuff. And it's important to be careful and it's important to be thoughtful with your decisions when it comes to raising money for charity because, you have the potential to do so much good and make a really huge impact with the money that you raise. So you got to do your research because the money is going from people to somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So that makes total sense. And I think, in terms of one thing that I do also want to touch on, side note, that we talked about offline, Savannah, is just like, having the custom tailored milestones, having, ways that people can interact in your chat, like with polls or like using the Twitch first party integrated charity tools and like setting all of those things up. Do you all how much of that planning goes into what you do when you're starting to stream? And if it's okay, Chris, I'm gonna ask you a little bit about that, and then I'm gonna go to Savannah. Is that cool? Like, is there a lot of planning that
Sure.
goes? Yeah, is there a lot of planning that goes into it when you're doing those kinds of things?
There should be. Sometimes I'm like a very last minute Andy where I'll like just kind of like right before like sometimes I'll decide to do a charity stream like last minute. My mods will be like, "We're doing a charity stream today." I'm like, "Yeah, I think so." Uh, but I think like planning stuff out and building hype around an event is way smarter because you can get a lot more going on. But sometimes it's like there's no option and you just kind of just it just happens, and like you just roll with it. But I do think building, branding, setting up incentives. One thing that I really like doing is gamifying the charity streams in a way where it works out, not in my favor in a sense. Like for every dub in Fortnite, I have to donate $100, and I'm really good at Fortnite, so I'm donating $100. But or it's like if I get a bunch of kills in Fortnite, like let's donate $20, and then I'll be like, who's matching me? And like people will match, and like that's a great way to be like, yo, who's matching? Or if I get a dub here, who's also going in, and people do it because it's fun and it's exciting and it gets kind of like intense towards the end. So it's like you're fighting for a dub, but also money for charity. So it's a fun way to do both.
That is so cool. I'm taking notes on that because I've never done that. That's really, I love that
Yeah,
idea.
give it a shot. Or like
Yeah.
you can only use like gray or uncommon weapons the whole game if someone donates like a certain amount. Or like you gotta drop all your guns right now because someone donated $100. Like there's a lot of fun ways to get silly with it.
I love that. I think people are always looking for like cool ideas of incentives and stuff like that. So thanks for
Yeah.
sharing that. That's really great advice. Savannah, what do you think on that?
That's awesome. I love that the chat versus Chris kind of like, incentives there. That sounds it's like so much fun. I think that milestones should definitely be personalized to your community. Um, Nobody can do you like you can, and if you're wanting to make your biggest impact, you take those things that make you special, that make your community special, the little inside jokes, or you might have a rubber chicken that's your emotional support chicken, and you have to like incorporate that into your outfit for a little bit. You might love a certain type of food and hate a certain type of food, and your chat knows that you hate that certain type of food, so they like to torture you with that certain type of food. There are so many different ways that you can make it your own. There are no right or wrong answers whenever it comes to this. Stay within 2 hours, but like you have to make sure that you're being yourself. So like one of the words that Chris used earlier was authentic, and I feel like authenticity really paves the way for not only genuine connections on Twitch, but also like to make the biggest impact and being a force for good on this platform. Just be yourself, and like picking out those milestones and those incentives and the stretch goals as well. We mentioned setting something that was reasonable within for your community, and everybody's different for your charity goals, but also having stretch goals in your back pocket is always a good idea. It's like, well, we I hope that we hit 800, but if for whatever reason, if we can hit 1200, I'll dress up in my inflatable T-Rex costume and then play Elden Ring in that. Whatever works for you and yours. That's awesome. The end goal here is to raise awareness and raise funds for causes that you care about. So the ways that you go about that, should be personal to you as well.
I love that. I love that. I personally want to see Savannah play video games in an inflatable T-Rex costume. We need to make that happen, chat. That is very, very awesome. And I know, yeah, like basically, what's the star of the show for me? I mean, obviously everybody loves Bobby, but like, you know what I do? Like sometimes I'll be like, okay, if you donate like $10, I'll give Bobby treats. And oh my God, everybody loves that.
Bobby's eating good.
Bobby loves that. Bobby loves that. And like one thing that I also like to do too is I went to school for art. So sometimes I'll do like, let me do a sketch for you. $10, I'll do a sketch for you and I'll send it out. We'll do a digital one. I'll send it out. Like that's always like really fun to do. Oh, there we go. There's the kitten. There's the kitten. Oh my gosh.
Sleeping.
I love it. Oh my God, what a little sweet. See, chat's already popping off because they love the pets in the chat. So like, if you could involve your pet in that charity fundraising too, I mean, I feel like, you'll get your goals real quick. Oh, that is so funny. I love it. I love it. Well, speaking of, doing your research and making sure that you pick causes that really align and like setting up yourself for success, how do you all decide on a charity when you're going to fundraise? So I'm gonna start with you, Savannah, and then I'm gonna go to Chris. Like, how do you start that process of figuring out who you're gonna raise money for?
I start with with the research, definitely, and also depending on, I like to go along with months that are corresponding, Native American Heritage Month or Men's Mental Health, and all these the corresponding awareness months are a great way for me to kind of get an idea about the charity that I would like to fundraise for. I love getting inspiration from other streamers. You mentioned before that there aren't just 4 organizations that are raising money for these causes that we care about, but those might be the ones we see a bunch. So I love to check out other charity streams anytime that I can. You can even go through the tag. You can search charity streamers on Twitch and find people that maybe you wouldn't have met otherwise, and see what they're raising money for, and being like, this is an interesting idea. I would love to check this out. That's another way that I like to research and pick the charities that I'm going to fundraise for. But definitely I involve, whenever it comes to choosing what we end up with, I involve my community. At the end of the day, they're going to be my biggest supporters whenever it comes to what we're doing. And I want the cause that we're rallying behind to be something that we're all excited about. So, the final step for me, once I've done my research and, put a list of uh, of charities, potential organizations in my Discord, I'll put, a vote, have people react to all of the causes that they'd like, and then the one with the most reacts gets that wins. That's how I pick. Gosh.
I love that. I love that. I think that that's the same for me too. Like using the charity tag on Twitch and finding out what's out there is huge. That's a really good point. And it has been a way that I've found like lots of new broadcasters and lots of new things to raise money for. So, Chris, how do you decide on a charity when you're going to fundraise?
Oh, like Savannah said, certain times of year make sense for certain charities. Like during June, we do a lot of pride related stuff, Rainbow Railroad or, the Trevor Project or whatever. But I think I also just like to change it up and do different kind of like categories. So it's not all the same thing. During like May, I'll do stuff for my mom's foundation because people, it's something that's very close to home and it's stuff that helps out. Like we've raised probably like over 50,000 for that, and like even just yesterday, like we sent $1,500 to someone who can't afford their cancer treatments, but like
Yeah.
now they're able to get some help, and that should never be a situation where you can't afford treatment that will help save your life potentially or help keep you around for a little bit. So we try to do as much as we can with that. But in terms of like how I decide, I'll talk to my community and my mods and see like if
Yeah.
there's anything out there that seems like it could use some help. Because I feel like just choosing the most popular option sometimes isn't necessarily the best idea because they already have enough eyes and awareness where like there might be some other organizations that could use some help that that might not have as much um, fuel. So
Mhm.
I think it's all case by case, but research is one of the biggest things, and then just deciding on like, all right, let's go for it, let's do it.
Gotcha. Yeah, that is such a good way to go about it. And involving, I love that y'all really focus on involving your community as well. That is super important because it really makes it feel like a group effort when you do it that way. So thanks for sharing that. I do have one question that I really want to know. Do you all have a favorite memory from a time that you fundraised on Twitch, like something that really stood out to you, something that really touched you? That made a high impact. So I'm gonna start with Chris, and then I'm gonna go to Savannah.
That's an interesting question because honestly, last week was a really emotional but exciting stream. We
Yeah.
had a community member, someone who I've gamed with before. Her dad was unfortunately involved in a hit and run where they were struck by a car when he was on a scooter, and he was left there. Like the car drove away, and he was left there, and was in the hospital for a few days. Was in a coma, and it obviously at first it looked really bad, but miraculously he's home now and he's doing much better. But there was a GoFundMe, and you know we ended up raising I think like 10K as a community, and the daughter of the father, Kara, in my chat, we were doing Fortnite customs with like our community. We had like over 100 people in there, and she somehow, through all the stress and bullshit she was going through, sorry for cursing, for that like week,
Mhm.
managed to secure a incredible dub with her teammate, and it was so hype. I was like commentating it, and it was like just very emotional, and everyone was losing their minds, and a lot of money was sent in because of it. But it was a really cool experience to see like the whole chat like flooding with emotion and hearts and stuff, and like everyone was like stoked because it was a really like a really good win too. It was just sick. Everything about it
Oh,
was just super cool.
oh my God, that's a beautiful story, man. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that is the power of community, and that's why we do things here on Twitch. And being able to share that win and being able to help somebody else out, like, I mean, I can't think of a better way to spend your time, on this platform. And that's really amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. Savannah, do you have a memory that you want to share?
Yes, I have so many. I'm really a back in from that story. That's amazing, Chris. I
Yeah,
was like,
I
oh
know.
gosh.
I really felt that,
Nah,
man. That was good.
I started tearing up when because I think he was still like bedridden and like not talking too much,
Yeah.
and we got a follow up like the next day, and she was like, he watched back the VOD and was like, and he says thank you, and I was like, there's no way. Like I started like
Oh
tearing up. I was like,
man.
it's so cool.
Oh,
Like the fact that he was like up and at him and like walking and like talking was just so cool.
that's
Wow.
amazing. That
Yeah.
is so amazing. You know, stop. I feel like whenever it comes to favorite memory, I it's it's really tough to put a finger on just one, just because I've had so many moments in my community who is just way too good. They're just way too good. You know, we've raised in one evening we raised like over $10,000 for survivors.org, and you know it's such a sensitive and heavy subject, and everybody was so supportive and came through with their, you know, their thoughts for one another and uplifting one another, even through all of that. Even if, you know, like I said, the monetary donations are amazing. You know, that's what keep these things going, because obviously that's what makes the world go around. You know, you need money to be able to help it, like the resources for these foundations. But oh my gosh, like really my favorite memory would be just hearing people's stories and having either reach out to me or in the safe space on Discord, and having community members or just people say, "Hey, this really helped me. I'm
Mhm.
so thankful that you are bringing awareness to this. I'm thankful that you are using your platform for this." You know, it means a lot to me for that. Like each individual person is so worthy, so valuable, and their stories are so important. And to be able to reach such like really unquantifiable amount of people on this platform, with these streams, it you have no idea the impact that they can make.
Yeah.
Because for every person that says this meant a lot to me, this really inspired me, this encouraged me, there could be, you know, 100 other people who felt the same way and didn't say anything. So yeah, I would say my favorite memory is really just kind of wrapped up in just sharing those moments with my community and anybody who happens to wander through, and celebrating the togetherness that, you know, that these things bring, you know, rallying behind a cause, and trying to do our best to say, yeah, this thing is a sucky thing, but you know, when we work together, we can make things brighter, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's the power of charity on Twitch, like just that everything that you just said there, and being able to hear people's stories and the impact that these things have on their lives. So, thank you for sharing that. And all right. So, I just realized, oh my gosh, we've been going for an hour. So, I have one last question for y'all that I'm going to get to. I'm going to summarize the key points, and then we're going to get to the chat questions by typing exclamation ask in chat. You could ask your questions and we'll get to them. But the last thing I want to ask you before we move on is, tell me about the importance of community when fundraising and how they impact the success of the fundraiser. So I'd love to hear Chris first, then I'll go to Savannah.
Community's the whole reason fundraising is possible. Without a community, it's you're just a guy. You know what I mean? Like anytime we raise money, it's because my community shows up and is there. Like there's no way I'd be able to do it on my own, and it's something that it's very hard as like someone in our position to like really fully grasp, because like each name in chat is a real human being with a real life doing a bunch of stuff, but they're also there showing up when you need them to for something that matters. So it's really cool to see and to experience that. But yeah, what we do with charity, streams and everything, is completely impossible without a community to back you up and be there for you every step of the way.
Absolutely. Community is that magic part of what we do here on Twitch. Absolutely 100%. And I do feel like it is important to the success of, charity fundraising. Savannah, I'd love to hear your thoughts about the importance of community when fundraising and how they impact the success.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better than Chris, honestly, like that it's not just about the importance, like that it's everything. Community is the foundation, that you're able to build a charity stream on. Without the people that make up the community, there's no way that you can, do anything. And I feel like when you show that and you nurture that and you pour into that and you give people the opportunity to be great, to give back, you are in for a world of just like awe, because people will show up and they will be great and they will blow you away. And it really just all starts about like from what you've built, with your community, with the people that you surround yourself with in your Twitch streams. But without the community, there would be absolutely no fundraising at all. It'd be like random Facebook DMs or Instagrams, like telling you to invest in something. It wouldn't work. It's not the
Yeah.
same. The
Yeah.
community makes the world go round with that, for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like Chris said, we're just like a person, on here, just asking people for money. But yeah, like community is what it's all about. And I love that we can come together and not only, inspire our community to do great, but also come together as broadcasters here on Twitch for like united causes or like events like, Giving Tuesday Giving and all that kind of stuff. Like that's going to be like such an amazing time to do good in the world. So, with that being said, let's summarize what we learned today. So, basically, we talked about do your research on the charities you want to support, your time. Also, supporting someone fundraising via sharing their campaign is valuable. Make your charity streams special and impactful. Make them stand out like milestones and other incentives. And fundraising for charity, no matter how big or small, every cent matters to the charity. And I couldn't have said it better. Like, those are y'all really brought out some great tips, some great important information through everything. Do y'all have any like final stuff that you want to say before we move on to the chat Q&A? We have 2 questions.
I'm down to get to the questions. I feel like I've said most of what was on my mind. Obviously,
Okay, cool.
I think what we're doing is super cool, and I would highly recommend looking into charities yourselves if you're into that kind of stuff, and if you're a streamer who's kind of on the fence or not sure, give it a shot. Go for it.
That's exactly what I was
Set a
going to
goal,
say.
set a fair goal, and just give it a shot. I've seen plenty of people be like, "Hey, raise $100. Hey, raise $500." It's like, dude, that's $100 more than that company had yesterday or that organization had yesterday. So it's everything's a net positive.
Exactly that. I was just going to say, if you're on the fence about it, just do it. Just try it out.
Do it.
This is your sign.
And don't, this is your sign. Take this as your sign to do a charity stream, no matter what, it's so worth it every step of the way.
Awesome. Just do it. I love that. I love that. That's lessons for life too. Okay, so we have a question from Smirky that says, what has been the most innovative aspect of team fundraising? Does anybody have thoughts on that and want to go first?
With Team Neat Dude, we have our team like event coordinator Mick, who does a bunch of awesome stuff for us, and we try doing like I think a couple charity streams a year, and we ended up doing a event like it was like a game show event that was really fun. It was like kind of like a Family Feud inspired 2-hour stream where we raised money, and we try almost like outdoing ourselves as a team every year. So there's like a little bit of an incentive there. But yeah, we try just doing interesting, fun stuff that multiple communities from different streamers can kind of all feel like they're all doing like a part of one massive thing, which is always super exciting. So that's kind of what we've been up to, is just doing fun little charity streams throughout the year.
Awesome. I love that. Savannah, do you have anything to add, or should I move on to the next question?
Next question is fine. Yeah, I haven't done a team one. I feel like
Got
everybody's a team, whenever we're coming together for something, and that's common. But no, I love to see it. I love to see it. It's exciting to witness that type of camaraderie with the Need Suit stuff too. That's really cool.
Yeah, yeah. I think I've done a few team ones, and I think like the biggest thing is like the tools that help you see what you do as a team. Like that help you kind of like figure out how much money you've raised together as a team. That's always like really fun to see like how much of a big impact your group is having. So, the last question that I'll ask to you both are there resources for creators on how to build their own charity streams, such as how to reach out to charities? That's a good question. Like, how do you reach out to a charity if you want to stream and raise money for them? Do you have any thoughts on that, Savannah and Chris?
Yes, I'm personally, I feel like if you want to fundraise for a charity, once you've done your research and figured out, like, not all the time you don't really need like a point of contact. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like I've raised money for charities and I never talked to anybody at the charity
Yeah,
itself. Like I don't know if y'all have ever done that, but I feel like really just there should be with using the Twitch charity tool is a really great way to incorporate into your charity streams all of the like basically like picking something that you're behind, and then you're like, oh, okay, you look it up and you can add it in through there. You should be able to directly donate to them. There aren't any fees or anything like that. So that's like a great way to get started, is to maybe look at the on your dashboard the Twitch charity information, and then you can
yeah,
kind of start by browsing through there and see if there's something that catches your eye, and go from there. That would be
yeah.
my advice.
True, true. Chris, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, so like Savannah said, sometimes I'll raise money and never talk to the company or organization and just do it. But there are other foundations that have like been very talkative the whole step of the way. And sometimes what's cool is they'll give you like incentives to give away like shirts or Yankee candles or things like that. If you hit certain goals. And they also will give you like kind of like an update of like what they're working on and like what's going on present day. So it's like, hey, we have this going on. The money that you're literally giving us will go towards this program. So that's kind of helpful with just having more information readily available for your chat. So they're not just like, oh, we're giving this money to whatever, I guess. Like you
Yeah.
having that extra information is super, dope.
Yeah. I think for me, what has worked is finding the organization on like social media, like Twitter and Instagram, and then seeing if they have like a social media manager and then connecting with them through that. Cause like stuff like American Heart Association and like Starlight, they have Discords because they work with broadcasters all the time. So you could go and then like find their Discord and then talk to like the people who work there and people who maybe fundraise for them all the time. And then they usually have like resources in their Discord where you could get like overlays and like all that kind of stuff to make your charity stream like feel unified and kind of stand out when you're broadcasting. So that's usually what I would say do, is like see if they have, social media reach, or like maybe through their Tiltify page or whatever, they might have like a point of contact and like, resources that could, help level up your charity stream. So that's what I would suggest. But yes, so I think we hit all the questions. We hit everything. We hit all the points. That was pretty awesome. Y'all did excellent. Thank you so much for joining me on this creator camp surrounded by Together for Good, the spirit of giving. Follow the creator camp channel for updates when we go live. And don't forget about Giving Tuesday on November 28th and Together for Good on Twitch. Thank you so much to my incredible hosts. I would love it if you could tell people again who you are and what you do on Twitch, where they can find you, and then I'll find an awesome raid target. So we'll go with Chris and then Savannah.
Cool. Yeah, so I stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/Chris Melberger. I do a variety of games. We stream a bunch of different stuff, usually 5 days a week, sometimes on the weekend if we're feeling wild. But yeah, you can find me on there if you want to laugh and hang. I usually do pretty long streams, and I'll be on tonight actually playing Among Us with a bunch of people. So if you want to come through, feel free. Appreciate you guys coming by and hanging out.
Nice. Oh, can't wait to see Savannah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Savannah Lowe on Twitch. I just said hi in the chat. I'd love to get to know you. I am the wholesome singing Soulsborne streamer, and I'm usually live Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, 11 p.m. CST to 4 a.m. CST. I would love to get to know y'all. I have to say thank you, huge thank you to Twitch, the Creator Camp, for inviting me. This is my very first one, and I'm super excited. And it's been wonderful to meet Chris. What a rock star. Ash, always amazing to see you, and it's so great to work with you. I can't stress enough how important the charity is to me. It's like a pillar of like who I am and what this stream does, and I'm just really grateful to be a part of this message. I think it's just so important, the impact that you can have on the world is just so cool. So thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Ash. I stream pretty much 5 days a week, so I'll probably be live later on tonight. But, charity is really important. We're definitely going to be raising money for Starlight later on in the month. So we'll love to see you back again for that. And thank you once again to my incredible hosts who have spent time with me sharing all of their deep insight on charity fundraising. Thank you so much. With that, we're going to go raid Ariel HM, I believe, because they are raising money right now for charity. So let's go and give them all of our love and support and cheer them on for their charity, which I believe they are raising money for JDRF. They're raising money for JDRF. So thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate you all. Please make sure to follow twitch.tv/creatorcamp. And don't forget about Giving Tuesday. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye.
See you guys later. Thanks for hanging.
Bye. Thank you.